right, everyone. Welcome back to the Freeman Focus Podcast. I'm your host, Mariano. Quick shout out to our sponsor, What the Snark, for sponsoring this podcast. What the Snark specializes in custom apparel, hats, hoodies, decals, and branded gear, all designed and produced locally in Wild Rose, Wisconsin. Sam Wood back on the show for episode 13, so let's get into it. Sam, welcome back.
Yeah, we had a little technical difficulty, and then I had work difficulty and all kinds of shit. So no, I'm glad I'm back on. I mean, it took a
It's
little
all in
bit to
God's
figure stuff
timing, man.
out. Yeah, we got to focus on what's important, right? So
Absolutely. How
where
are things out
everybody's
west?
well, it's cold and we're
Yeah.
struggling. I mean, everything plastic is breaking. Airline fittings.
Boy.
We're struggling, but it's the same struggle I have every year, right? So I know you guys are cold and Wisconsin's experiencing some stuff that they probably never had, and people are freaking out. I can tell everybody this: water, keep yourself hydrated in the cold. I mean, I talk to my guys out here all the time, and when it's cold outside, it takes more out of you than when it's 90 degrees, Yeah, it's just keep
Solid
it all
advice there.
together. We ain't going to be as bad as Texas. I was supposed to head down to Texas here in a day or two, but now I'm going to hold off. So they're going to get a big ice storm. That'll be a giant shit show. So
They can't even drive in the snow as it is.
no.
It's like every time it even snows, it's like pile up guaranteed. Like there's a pile up
right.
somewhere.
This will be good for my industry. 'Cause, we got all the refineries down there. They're sitting on a large quantity of gas or products, So
Right.
if it hits like this, it'll shut the refineries down. Oil came up like a $1.80 or something today a barrel, so that's good for us. It went above 60 again, and so it's been hovering right around 57, 58. So we're back up above 60. So maybe you guys won't get that cheap gas. So
Right. We're too busy dealing with exploding trees, I guess. So we're not too worried about gas
right,
prices.
yeah, no shit.
All I
Man.
see on the internet's exploding trees.
Oh, it's just crazy, and the memes about it are crazy, right? I mean, it's just.
I haven't even stepped outside. So
And
mark
what
me
people don't
safe from
what people
exploding
don't
trees.
understand, like I spend a lot of time in the woods hunting and everything else, and this is a normal thing when it gets down. Not even this cold, just regular cold. You can always go out and hear the trees popping and stuff like that, But not a lot of people go in the woods and hear the trees popping, and not a lot of people go into cornfields and listen to the corn grow. So it's probably some of the finer
Right.
things in life that people miss out on. I'm lucky
It's
that
a
I've done
shame.
both.
It's a shame. Yeah, absolutely, man. Mother
So
Nature
where
and the
did we
wild
leave off?
outdoors. I believe yesterday, one of the last conversations we had, I'm trying to think here.
We were probably bitching about something.
I think we were kind of finishing up, like at that part of the conversation, we were finishing up talking about the canine stuff. We talked about some stuff that was happening in Coloma.
Yeah.
Updated receipts more or less on all that stuff.
Yeah, the Badger Project came out with a new thing about the state patrol
Was it
getting
a
arrested.
state patrol?
Yeah, so then I made a post, and then I posted a picture of that state patrol guy giving Washare County canines a check, and then I guess that again, it's the first time I had the sheriff's department butthurt enough to call me and say, "Hey, you're insinuating we did a bad job, and we're not going to let you slander us," and blah blah blah. One of the representatives. I said, first of all. And then, you're like, you take it down or modify it. And I'm like, first of all, dude, what you don't understand is the Constitution. So violating my rights. And I never said anything. All I did was say, they posted that project, and I put on there, is this another layer of the onion that I have to peel back? And then I posted the picture. And it wasn't, and there was some, I think Scott Egan was on the call for the guy getting arrested. Might have been the lead officer. I don't have all of the details. I got a lot of hearsay, but they're not giving up the open records just yet because the case is ongoing. So I only got some hearsay, right? And I'm like, and they're like, you're just insinuating we're doing a bad job. And I'm like, no, I'm insinuating this is another thing I got to look at because, like, you guys just keep fucking everything up. And why wouldn't I look at it? Really?
Right.
Like, you have a guy that got arrested, didn't get a DWI.
Yeah, that just seems right there, right? That part right there.
So here's the deal, right? So from what I'm hearing happened is they didn't think they could get him on a DWI because they didn't catch him driving. And it has nothing to do with Washare County. So the guy was like struggling to work on his computer. He was fucking almost 3 times the legal limit. He was like, what, 2.26 or something?
Probably seeing double at this point. He's trying to type.
Yeah, so then they kind of questioned him. They found out he had a Mountain Dew bottle with half filled with vodka. So they kind of, the guy got pissed off, was going to get up and leave. They took his keys. I mean, the responsible thing to do, right? My problem is a lot of times they'll see somebody walking drunk out of a bar, right? They won't take his fucking keys. In fact, they probably won't pull you over till you're about a mile from your house because they want to see what else they can tack on, right? We all
Right.
just look at the statistics. They just want to see what else they can tack on, rather
Right.
than protect and serve, right? So, but they took his keys. Good thing. I think they took his gun. Good thing. I don't think they were nefariously trying to get this guy a break. But supposedly Scott or one of the officers was talking to the DA. They didn't think they were going to get it. And I don't know. I'll get the body cam footage. I'll get the thing, and maybe it'll tell us that they tried to talk the DA down. I don't know. But there's no reason I wouldn't look at this. Like, this is
Right.
shady, right? I mean, the guy donated $1,800. It was the sixth brought, they've done this before. They have a connection. Scott Egan is the canine guy. And dude, I hope they did it right. And I hope it all works out. I mean, it's in the DA's hands now,
100%.
but why wouldn't I look at that? Like, why are you even
Absolutely.
calling me? Because I fucking hurt your feelings? Dude, they have
Right.
screwed up so many people and screwed up so much shit. Like, tough shit. And then, he's like, we're not gonna let you slander. And I'm like, fucking sue me. God damn it. You guys have threatened it like 3 times. Sue me so I can get, you know. And then after I made that post,
I
the
studied it.
video.
I read every bit of that
Yeah, there
post
was
too.
nothing there, right? And even if there
I
was,
didn't see anything.
if a government official could sue a civilian for slander, Donald Trump would have half the people in the country locked up in a
Right.
lawsuit. It's just, you
Right.
can't do it. Take your lumps. And the reason you're in this situation is all the shady shit you've done before. Yeah, I mean, they'll judge us by our past. Let me judge you by the past.
If you don't want a spotlight shined on you, then just don't get involved in
Right.
anything
And,
that's
and
going to
then here's
be
the thing, right? I've been to the sheriff's department. I brought all of this shit up. They never do nothing. Scott Egan took on a shitty job. But here's the thing. I go in and I talk to them guys and I'm like, they're moving to the future, right? I said, great. Hopefully you guys get it right. Hopefully it's good. But don't tell me you didn't know
absolutely
all this other shit was going on. And now you're in a position to maybe do something about it, and you still ain't doing nothing. So I'll work on the
right.
path.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to like the stuff, it sounds like it was downplayed a lot. Like the officer dick pic stuff was downplayed. It seemed like, oh, it was
Covered
just a
up.
chat between
They're
a couple
covered up.
people. It was so much widespread. I think it came
It's
out that it
so
was
much
like
worse.
EMTs that were, reporting incidents about this
I still
guy.
got it right here.
You
And I mean,
had,
dude, I got it in my desk here in North Dakota. I look at this shit all the time. It's what motivates me. Nobody, no
it's just so
victims, no crimes.
widespread.
Huh?
Yeah, it's just so widespread. It's like, how can nothing not have been done
And,
about
and
that
my
stuff?
thing is,
And
right, they keep coming down on me like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? I said, I fucking told you I was going to do it. I told you
right.
if you lied to me and it came back worse than it was, I was going to bring down a wrath that you guys had never experienced nor could imagine.
It's not even
I
like it's
do.
your can of worms. They created it.
Yeah, I just exposed it. And then the right guy exposed it, right? I'm in here in North Dakota. I'm running my business. They can't even fuck with me. You can fuck with my wife or my kids, and then that's going to turn out really fucking bad.
Hopefully not, obviously.
Yeah, I hope they don't. They haven't. I mean, we had that one little incident, but here's what kind of sucks, right? Brian Wenzel and Scott Egan used to stop in my wife's office all the time, bring their dogs in. Wife loved Thor, and since I've done this shit, they're like, they don't want nothing to do with my wife, and it's like, why? If you didn't do anything
Right.
wrong, what the fuck are you worried about? You're worried about what Wally's gonna say or somebody's gonna say. Well, reach down and grab your fucking balls. If you want to worry about a guy that's so effed up and got everything brought down on you, you made your bed, go lay in it, right?
Right. Right. You
I
could
mean,
totally not be a part of that. And you cannot be silence is complacency.
well,
Like
here's the
you
thing,
can't
right?
know
I
about
took the
something and then
Coloma
not
shit.
do something.
I took the Coloma shit to Scott, and he's like, "Oh, there's nothing I can do," and he knew what was going on. He's like, "There's nothing I can do." Okay, I'd have put the bitch on suspension for 2 weeks and called somebody else in and did an investigation. What's it going to hurt?
Right.
Here's the thing,
Mm,
right? I'm going to do
Due
another one, and
diligence
I'll
and
and I'll unveil
investigate.
I'll unveil it right here. This is what I'm on another video I'm going to do, and this is going to be the first people are going to hear about it. Scott Egan, Wally Zulke, Brad McCoy, Stacy Vaquero. You will have an open mic on my page, Facebook Live, if you want to come and fucking defend anything. In fact, I will turn the camera on and leave the room. I'll give you the same reach I got. Come and explain yourself, right? If you didn't do nothing wrong and you believe it, how come they've never come out publicly and said anything? Stop hiding behind the bullshit. If you don't want me to control the narrative, you have an open mic. I'll set it up. You can come. I'll post it on my thing. You can do it live. People can type in questions. You can have the whole fucking thing. You know what they can't do? Grab their fucking balls and do it. But they have the thing, and I'm going to do a video on it. You want me to take shit down, or you think I'm turning the narrative, or I'm controlling it? I am, but I'll give you whatever you want. Just come out publicly and tell the public your side of the story. Should solve it, right?
I mean, you think that in order for us to move forward, we have to uncover all the crap that whatever is still
Well,
like
here's the
lagging
thing, right?
around. There's
They're never going to come on and publicly say, we fucked up. This is all there is, because I'm going to catch them in another fucking lie. They'll say this shit behind closed doors. They'll send memos off to each other. Sam's picking on us, and he's controlling the narrative. And is there anything the county can do to help us stop him? And it's slander. It ain't
freedom
slander.
of speech,
It's the fucking truth. It's not even freedom of speech, dude. It's not slander. I only bring it out in their words.
right?
I didn't make this shit up.
It's in the
This is their
papers.
words. Their words.
It's all there.
All the
All
shit
the
that
receipts.
I unfold from open records requests that's on the paper that it's not only their words, they print it off on their own paper. And I buy this
Right.
for $1. And I buy this for $1. And I buy this for $1. So I have to buy the information, $1 a page. It's your words, literally printed on their paper in their copy machine in their office. I have nothing to do with this.
Right.
Why are
Not
you
not
fucking mad?
edited, not redacted.
No, no. In fact, these right here were redacted so bad I could read every single name in it. I went out and made them black so nobody else could fucking see it.
Well, that's good. Thank you for
Right.
due diligence, because some of
Yeah,
those
because
people
but
are
here's the thing.
victims, even if they're not counting them as victims.
Right, right. And they are. And like I said before, dude, the rank and file, we need to stop. Everybody needs to stop busting their balls. They're in a bad spot, right? They want to do good. They don't want to lose their job. I get it. I'm wired different than most people. Probably would have. But right now, I think anybody who works for Wally Zilke could walk up to him and say, fuck you, I'm done with it. Fire me. And they would never get fired, right? I mean, if they're willing to come out with the shit, I think there's zero fear now. But ultimately, it's been said to me that they're looking forward to a new administration that were saying they're
I'd
going to
hope so.
support me. They don't, they don't have to support me. They don't have to support Denny Plant. Whatever you do as an officer, you go behind closed doors. And I get it, right? I vote Republican, but voting for a Republican is really bad for my business here in North Dakota. But I still vote Republican because it's the right thing to do in my mind. It's my values. So even though it's going to hurt me, I vote it right and I sacrifice. We'll take probably a 35% hit. We might even take more. Harold Ham just said they're not going to drill. They're pulling the drill rigs for Continental. Continental's the biggest oil producer in North Dakota, and they're shutting their rigs down. They're not going to drill. They're going to keep all their other stuff going. He brought that up last week, and two more companies that they haven't released the names are doing it today. I've talked to some of my customers, and they're all going like 60 days. So, I mean, I got rough times ahead of me here. I mean, I'm going to be all right because I prepared for shit. But I vote what's right. I don't vote with my pocketbook. I vote with my conscience. I vote what's right. So if any of these officers, I'm not asking for anybody of them to vote for me. I'm not asking for anybody to endorse me. And if I run, it's going to be because I'm going to do the right thing. And it's going to cost me a fucking lot of money what I'm going to sacrifice here. And it's a bad time, right? So, I mean, I got put a lot of stuff together before I do that. But I think and I know they are. They've said it. They're looking forward to the future. It ain't going to be any
Thank
worse
God.
than they have now, and they do think change is
Right.
coming, and so good for them, right? And hopefully, maybe Scott Egan, when he gets another sheriff in front of him, his balls will drop down just a little bit, and he'll be able to make some changes. And I
As
don't
far as
say
Wally,
that.
his days are numbered, right?
Yeah, Wally's going to be done. He's not running again from what I hear. And I would love to have Wally run. Trust me. God damn it, would I like to be in a public debate with that dude, right? Holy smokes. I
was
would
gonna say,
come in there
there's
just a waddling with my balls in a wheelbarrow. I'd crucify that dude. Um,
man.
but like I said, hopefully it all comes out. nothing against, Scott Egan. I have my personal opinion about that. And, but I know what's going on the inside. And, you can be a great guy, still suck as a leader. You can be an
Right.
asshole and be a successful person. I brought guys in that were great drivers and everything else. And I moved them up to a leadership role and fucking had to get rid of them, dude. I had to move them back down, and then they quit because they take it as a cut that you're not cut out for this. I just, it's a struggle. So just because you're a good old boy or you've been there longer, nothing against Brian Wenzel, but they're making him the detective sergeant. He's literally
Okay.
never been a detective. He's been in, a patrolman his whole career. Canine. I think he was a great canine officer. So,
Yeah, I've seen a lot of comments about him being a great
yeah,
handler.
yeah. So I got nothing against him for that, and it's gonna suck that we're losing another canine and stuff like that. But you literally got some deputies or some detectives there that have been there, and we just lost one. Andy Strobush, been to the department for a long time, was their sergeant, and he just passed away here unexpectedly. Had just a short battle with cancer and lost. But you're gonna
My
put
condolences
somebody
to his
in,
family.
yeah, they're gonna put somebody in that role that and I was like, who the fuck thought of that? The guy has never been we're putting him in there because it's the leadership. In my eyes, you're putting him in there because he knows where skeletons are buried. And
Right.
I know guys that have called me that left the sheriff's department because they bust their ass, and then they realize their fucking career is going nowhere because they're watching other people get promoted because they're fishing buddies, family, friends, or whatever. And it's
Right.
probably been that way for quite a while. But that sucks, right? I mean, they're not
Yeah.
they're promoting from within, and whether it's good or bad, we're putting a
We'll
department
find out.
out of we're putting the department out of canine again, right? And maybe Thor was ready to be retired. I don't know all of that, but we're putting a good canine officer in a position that I don't think he's qualified for, and he's really fucking good at what he does. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. That's kind of like you're taking away from one capacity that is doing well, and then you're going to
Yeah.
put someone in a
And
position that you
we
might
took
not
Scott
see
Egan.
the
We took
outcome you're
Scott
looking
Egan
for.
again. We took him off. Canine
Right.
patrol. He was a patrol
Another great
sergeant.
canine handler.
Yeah, patrol sergeant, same as Wenzel. They're moving him in, and now he's the chief deputy. I mean, I hope he does good at it. I hope fucking Brian does good at it. You know why?
Right.
Because I don't really give a fuck about their feelings. I hope they do good at it because our fucking community needs it. It's in such
Right.
bad shape right now. And if they don't start taking care of the younger generation, I mean, I'm all about promoting with it in a guy earning his job. But if you're
Right.
crushing the morale of your guys because somebody's getting promoted, I mean, how do all of these other guys that have been detectives for however many years, the detective part of the department, from what I can see, is fairly young. Gunderson, I think, was one of their good detectives. He was an up and comer. Now he's going back, and he got Deputy Dick Pick's dog, and he's going backwards. He's taking a job as a patrol sergeant and everything else. From what I hear, Gunderson was like one of the best patrol sergeants we've had. So he's going into a role that he's really fucking good at. And people, the rank and file, like, respect him for that. But he's actually taken his
Right.
career backwards to do what's good for himself,
What's in the
maybe.
best
I mean,
interest for everyone else.
yeah, and it's in the best interest for everybody else. And then we're moving a couple people forward and putting them in positions. I don't know. It's fucking politics, right?
Right.
No matter how you look at it.
Tetris.
Even the bureaucrat
Tetris with
part of the
people.
department. Yeah, even the bureaucrat part of the department is politics. I don't know. We could talk about the shit all
Yeah.
day long.
What a can of worms. Yeah.
It really is,
Lord.
and I would love to see these guys start getting some wins. I really would. I really want them
Absolutely.
to get some wins, but
I'd love to see some of them just step out and just like openly have a dialogue on like, all right, so here's the standpoint. This is what we do know. Here's what we'd like to see happen going forward, and just something
This
like
is this
you
is
know
literally their stance. It doesn't look good. It's not a good look, but what do you want us to do? How about fucking fix it? How about going back, and they're looking at it like this, right?
address
The
it,
past
acknowledge it.
the past is the past. They're like, Sam, you just keep digging up the past. Yeah, because you want it to stop? Fucking Stacy, resign. Brad, resign. You're shitbirds, dude. You're shitbirds. Brad the Candyman. I mean, these guys just got to go. They're asking everyone of the departments in Washington County to cut costs. We're $600,000. We went in a deficit.
Right.
So, like, Blue Ribbons Kids Day, it's going to be this big deal. And it always is. And it's for the kids, it's for the community. It's going to impact hundreds of kids, maybe, right? Don't anybody prepare for that. No overtime allowed preparing for that. The fucking sheriff's department overtime is fucking rampant. Their fucking budget is fucked. There's nobody, we didn't get people in the
Right.
jail. And the sheriff's department is going, we're in our own little island. They play the, well, nobody wants to defund the police, right? I don't want to defund the police. But the waste, fraud, and abuse our
No.
department is doing is crazy. And here's the thing, it's affecting other fucking departments. Human services, their main thing is customer service, right? Taking care of the problems,
The
the
people in the
people that
community.
are the community, the drug problems, the homeless problem, all this, and their budget's getting. And then we got the veterans thing. The veterans thing was, Bill Rosenau was way behind on some of the paperwork because there's only him and another guy, right? And they kind of asked for some money to maybe put a third guy on, and the sheriff's department's over there fucking the dog. Budget's shit. We could have had, 600,000 or whatever. We could have balanced the budget, but there's no accountability and they don't give a shit. I want to see our
I see
community.
the Watoma. I was
The
going to say, the Watoma Police Department. They seem to be pretty involved with the community and like children, like youth
huge,
things. They got the
huge.
ice fishery with Tony at the Wisconsin
But
Backyard
but
Sheds
but
was
Chief
rescheduled, but
Mott, Joey
like almost
Rosine, and
60.
yeah, I mean you got Chief Paul Mott and you got Joey Rosine, right? Guys, people, listen. Watoma Police Department is not Washington County Police Department, right? And
A lot of people are confused about that.
my God, it's so bad. I
Crazy.
feel bad for
I've
them
read the
guys, right?
comments. I'm like, you're attacking the wrong people here. You got
Now I got to
misplaced.
get in
You
there
got mis.
sometimes and fix it too. But
Yeah,
Paul Mott,
good guys.
yeah, and I've got to talk to him a little bit, and he comes from a totally different atmosphere. He's a fib like you, fucking Illinois
Yeah, I'm
bastards.
from Chicago too. I know. I
Yeah,
know.
I think he was on the outskirts, but did the drug bust, did the predator shit, worked closely with a lot. He had a very stellar career down there, right? So he has all of this knowledge, and I think that Sheriff County feels threatened when he brings stuff to the table and wants to do things a different way, and this is how the big city does it, right?
An
And
efficient way, an effective, efficient way.
efficient, effective, yeah, and holding people accountable. And I mean, I think he gets his guys a lot more training. He really gives a fuck about his community, and he's always doing the breast cancer thing. If you go to their page, they always got something going on, right? And the
100%.
sheriff
100%.
and the sheriff feels threatened for that. We should be the county kind of embraces Paul Mott in at the like the county board level and stuff, and the community embraces him. But I think that like the sheriff's department fights against them a lot. I've seen some shady shit.
Yeah, you think that I know that there are two entities, but you would think that they would want to work as closely or as smoothly together as possible, or transparency to some degree.
I
You
just
know,
think that Wally, if he feels threatened or anything, he just shoots his fucking mouth off and makes it miserable for everybody to be nice to somebody. And it is what it is. So even if I don't win, I truly hope somebody that becomes the sheriff can unite all of these other we got Wild Rose.
absolutely.
We got Wild Rose, we got Red Granite, we got Plainfield, Watoma. So we have all of these. I think Hancock has their own police department. It'd be nice if these guys all work together towards a common goal of protecting and serving and advancing our
100%.
community, so
Yeah, I'd like to say that the Watoma Police Department is doing a fantastic job of advocating for protecting and serving their community. 100%. Justin
yeah,
Jackson, Paul Mott, Officer Rosine, all those
yeah.
guys, great guys. I've interacted with all of them. Not never
Yeah, I
once.
just started
I mean, I've
interaction.
had
I just started interacting with Jackson, but you grow up around here. The Rosines are known all over. I've known Joey and his family for a lot of years. They're all kind of a little crazy, but they're all great guys. I grew up hanging out
right,
with Harlan Rosine and Roger Rosine and Carol Rosine. Well, Carol's married into the family, but yeah. So you have that. He's from here. He doesn't want to see his community.
right,
Joey doesn't want to see his community go to shit. And I think we
right.
we have some of these guys I know they have that young, a couple young deputies. Robert Clark, his dad was a cop, and he's here, and he's on the force, and his roots are here, and he's got a family here. And Jake Hansen, he's here, and so I'd like to see these younger guys. Back in the day, there was guys that were cops for generations, or we had all of these older cops that were mentoring these guys. I remember the Pat Foxes and Danny Christensen got himself in a little bit of trouble, but back in the day, I don't think he started out bad. Thurley was like high up when I was growing up, and we had Bob Phillips was our town cop in Wild Rose. He fell asleep on duty and shit, and he was like the pinnacle of a small town cop, right? He would actually give guys home a ride home, and then he'd tell you, I'm going for coffee at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. If you need a ride, I'll come pick you up. But that's what. So I think they've lost focus. We're not Chicago. We're not Milwaukee. We're damn sure not Minneapolis.
Thank God. Yeah,
The
absolutely.
tickets, the tickets these guys write, we're not getting a big fucking percentage of it to bail our county out of everything. They're giving them most of the money to Madison and everywhere else. And I think it would be just easier to become more involved with our community and be more active with helping fix our problems.
We got like the
I
Washera Shines. You got a program that's helping with outreach for like troubled adults or individuals. They're doing what they
and
can.
it's
Then you
getting
got
bad. I mean, I was just at the last county board, and I think suicides in Washera County are up like 50 or 75%. That's a lot.
yeah, I don't know
And
where I seen a statistic, but I seen something that said like 67,000 just in January. I don't even
well,
count
that's
the month.
in the state, I think, or in the country, right? So
It
I'm
might be
talking
countrywide
I'm
or something like
talking
that.
in Washera County, suicide rates up like 50 or 75% last year. I think we had.
And there's multiple factors that play a role into that. There's only so many places available for steady, employment, gainful employment, and you got to have
Yeah,
transportation because
and
not
finding a
everything is
place,
right down the road.
yeah, not
To
everything's right
live
down
that's
the road.
affordable.
Finding a place to live is tough in here in Washera County, and yeah, no, it's tough. My
We like to see the response times get reduced too. So, like when there was a situation at the high school, whether it was Watoma or Wild Rose, both of them, we'd like to see cooperation to the point where I think the Wild Rose one went pretty smooth, but the
Wild
Watoma
Rose
one
one went
had
pretty
a little
good.
bit of
I
a
mean, there
delay.
was some shit that I seen, and I talked to him about it, and the guys that were there were pretty receptive to what was going on. I mean, I got there about the same time a lot of them got there, and you're not kicking me off the fucking property. I got family and friends in there, and
Right.
I'll sit in my cyber truck. I did show up. I did have the cyber truck. I mean, it was just happened to be there, and you know, um, here's the thing, right? I think a lot of the sheriff's department might think I hate them. Some of them think, whatever. But honest to God, truth, even if Wally was involved in a fucking shootout or getting his ass kicked, I would pull over or I would do what I could to help him. Right now, when it's all said and
The
done,
humane
I might
thing, absolutely.
and when it's all said and done, I might fucking kick him in the nuts and say, that's your price you're going to pay for me helping you. I'll be honest with that. But no, I mean, I'm never going to no matter what it is with law enforcement, I would never let that, same thing. I got asked one time if something happened to Joe Biden, would you protect him? And I'm like, yeah, I can't stand the fucker. He's kind of Looney Tune, but he's still the president of this United States. He is
Understand?
still,
Yeah, understood. Yeah,
there. I don't believe in these riots.
absolutely.
I don't believe in none of that shit. Like, truthfully, no matter where I stand, even if the mayor, that police chief in Minnesota, I hear this a lot. Like, fuck him. No, man, he's in a bad spot, and he's got, how do you draw the line, right? He's got a right to the way he thinks and everything else, and he's not going to back up ICE. And if he's getting his ass kicked, I mean, if ICE is kicking his ass or he's kicking ICE's ass, I'll probably let that go. Like Donald Trump said, we had Al Qaeda and the Taliban were fighting each other, and one of his fucking generals wanted to get involved. He's like, why? We fucking hate both of them. Why do we want to get involved? But the same thing, is if the general public or somebody's attacking him or a suicidal guy or, you know, trust me, like if there was a shootout and Washera County was pinned down, all of them, pray to fucking God Sam Wood pulls up with whatever the fuck he's got and it settle the score. Cause I have all of their backs and I have no matter where they stand. And here's the thing, right? You don't have to respect the man, but you got to Got to respect the position, right? You got to respect the badge. Do I respect Wally as the sheriff? No, I don't respect him as a man, but I still respect that he's the sheriff, and I would back him up if he was getting his ass kicked. I would still attack him if he's not and tell him. And I mean, I'm not going to kick his ass, but I'm not going to hold any punches back to talk about the shit that he's done and what he's caused. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean,
So,
you're not for the violence, right? You're
no,
all, it's all about peace. We want peace within our community. You're not going to
right.
promote anything
I mean,
that's
here's
the
the thing,
opposite of
right?
that.
When I blew up in that one county board meeting, thank God they were all too dumbfounded to stand up because, like I said, that's the meeting that I knew about this. And they were sitting over there
Right.
smug and they said, no victims, no crime. And I fucking told Wally, your fucking career is over. And Brad McCoy and these guys were like, oh, it was just terrible that he did that and attacked us like that. And somebody should do something. Yeah, y'all probably should have arrested. I mean, truthfully, I was out of line. I was a little bit emotional. But if Wally wouldn't have had a badge on, if he would have cocked off, went outside, I would have beat the living fuck out of him for what he did. The badge is the only thing that saved his ass. Truthfully, that is what
Right.
he did, what he covered up, and Deputy Dick Pick and all of them guys did.
Say there's no victims. It's just
I just
to say
find it
that there's
crazy,
no
right?
victims. That's just,
Yeah, to say
man.
that there was no victims. It's right there. It's on video. I recorded it. I asked him,
Yeah,
"Did you report the car?"
I got a male friend of mine that was a minor at the time. Said he got pulled over by Officer Dick Pick, and he said that that guy had solicited the same thing to him. Like, you send me a picture, let me see it. I'll let you go. I don't know what happened with the situation, and I asked him like, you should talk about it. You want to come out about that? I'm like, hey man, for all I know, you got some form of
Act
PTSD every time you see a
I don't
sheriff's
I
car.
listen, here's the deal. So there is a couple of them. Like in here it was one, right? And they let it go.
Right.
And now I'm up to 3. And maybe your guy is one of the 3. Maybe he's another one. Listen, tell him this. Reach out to Paul Mott. He doesn't have to give his name. He doesn't have to do anything. But if that is truly what happened, he needs to reach out to Paul Mott and let him know because all I can say is this ain't dead yet.
100%.
No,
100%.
and it's out of my hands. So he really does need to reach out. And here's the thing.
I will definitely advise him.
And tell him this. They didn't do anything with the first guy, right? The first kid. And now we have 2 more. And if he's another one, there's going to be another one. I tell everybody this.
Right. There's a pattern. There's a pattern. So
Elliot
it's a habitual
Elliot is a
nature
sexual
for this
predator.
guy.
And it just makes me wonder. Wally went to his fucking wedding after I exposed all of this. So it's like,
Yeah, I couldn't believe that.
in my
Yeah,
opinion,
wow.
Wally's probably a sexual predator, or he's at least a enabler.
Right.
But if there's something there,
Silence is complacency. You can't ignore
that
what
if
is
something's
true.
there, your
It is a
buddy,
fact.
I get it. I've dealt with since this whole thing started, a bunch of women that don't want to come forward because they don't want to relive it. I get it. I get it. But honest to God, people, even in any situation, if something like this happens to you, reach out. You can reach out to me. I got advocates. I got everything. You're going to stay anonymous. I'm not going to pressure you, or reach out to Paul Mott, reach out to
Or Melissa, you said too.
Melissa Adelina. She's the lady that we got that's working with a lot of these people. So reach out. We can get you the right people, and it'll be 100% confidential. But also, they never get asked. They don't get pressured to come forward and listen. I never experienced nothing like that, right? But if we don't stop it, these people
It'll
just
continue.
keep doing it. And
Right.
you always hear about the next one and the next one and the next one. And all I can do is advocate for you. Got to come forward. And I give you my fucking word until I die, I will advocate for you and I will do everything I can to stop it without you necessarily reliving it. But you need help. Don't compartmentalize and box this in. I just have talked to too many people in the last 6, 8 months to know that it affects them the rest of their fucking life if they don't get help. Thank God most of them are getting help now, and it sucks. But
It's
again,
like a form of PTSD. You could see the
yeah,
vehicle and it could trigger something, like
yeah,
and I
or
told me
you just.
I was like, if it happened, I was like, you should definitely come forward. You definitely
But
should not
reach
let
out
that
to them,
slide. I
let
mean,
them know, show them this, just say, hey man. we got your back, but we need to stop people like this, right? And again, the military blanket parties are real. Prison, there's a reason why they don't let pedophiles in. People police that shit. If I believe that there's a lot of departments that do very good at it. Washera County, outside of the sheriff's department, has a really good program. Human services, all of these people. I believe in what they do. I believe in them people. I believe in Adelina with CAP Services in Wapaka. I believe in her. I believe in Mott. So just tell him we have a network that he never knew existed to help him get through this or deal with this or to help bring justice. Because here's the thing, right?
To all the
I
unnamed
don't I
victims, because
don't
there's a
know
list of them.
the minor things here, I don't know their names. I don't know. It came out more to Paul, and that stuff was all turned over to DCI without me knowing it. And so your buddy might be one that's already going to get questioned because his name has already come up, or if he's another one, it's just another one, right?
I don't think he talked to anybody about it. I think he just
And
confided
and
in me
and
because
so
I
then you
had
have this, right?
mentioned that.
How many people out there that don't talk about it? I mean, seriously, you're a young boy and another guy asked. I'm going to tell you this. So I was in Wild Rose, and we might have went through this in our last podcast. We're probably revisiting some stuff, but some of this stuff is super
Okay.
important. It's worth saying 2 or 3 times. So I was in Wild Rose High School, and we had a teacher, Grinderman, and he ended up being a fucking wiener toucher, and he fucked up some kids in our class. Like, he would invite us all over to his house. He was just a weird, but like my best friend was over there and he'd take pictures of him playing with a truck and it's just, and then another one of my good friends got molested by him. A couple of my good friends did. But back then, like, so it was weird, right? So we were all in the shop class, and in Wild Rose, we had a walkway that wasn't enclosed. So you'd go outside from the main school and then we go down into the shop building. So we were walking down between, and they had fucking cops everywhere. And like they were telling us, come with us, come with us. They were taking us to different rooms, questioning us. Fucking news teams were there. And then yeah, as soon as they got us, they went in there and they arrested him in the building, and then it kind of got all exposed, right? But back then there was no counseling. Like they didn't counsel none of us. Didn't quit.
Right.
It was
If you're a
the
victim,
cop.
you were just a victim, and
Yeah, and then I didn't get questioned too much because I was like, "Oh, he fucking slapped me on the ass one time," and I kind of said, I don't be doing that," and he left me alone. So, anyways, my one of my friends, and he was a pretty good friend. He never got help for it, and I truly believe it. That when he took his life, it was over that shit. Maybe if the first person, and I believe there's some people that he fucked with that never came forward, never did anything, right? And the guilt you got to live with there. So I don't necessarily know how to handle it. But if your friend, if he's reaching out or he wants to reach out, just get him with Paul Mott, right? And don't even include me in it. But people got to get some help. Through this
absolutely.
whole thing, I found out about Melissa and her grandpa. So it's pretty dear to her. It's pretty dear to me. Yeah. And these people that are covering it up or, I don't, we got to fix it, right?
It
Yeah.
all starts with what you can do within your own network, within your own
Yeah, and I and
community,
I
within
and
your
I
own
and I
friends
do
group, and
like I said, I have people reach out to me, and I do have there's a small group that has gotten their feet underneath them and speaking out or become community orientated just by me raising hell, right? And they realize that, hey, I'm gonna get behind this guy and I'm gonna tell my story because what are they gonna fucking do to me? I'll call Sam Wood and he's gonna fucking tear their ass a new one in public. So I think that our community is becoming empowered and fixing itself and holding the accountability. I heard from a lot of the deputies that like they were getting fucked with and everything. And I try to tell the community, lay off them guys. Most of them are doing a good job. The problem ones are gone. They're all good guys there and gals there now that I can tell. But ultimately, they're getting their feet right. And we're going to hold that. And I think that the community's letting them know that this ain't all right. So maybe
right.
if one of them guys gets an opportunity that they're getting finagled into doing something bad, they're not gonna because they know the community's behind them and we want our community's healing and
Right.
fixing itself because they didn't step up. So, but we got to give them a little bit of break because they're looking forward to the next administration too. So
Totally
I think we'll
understandable.
be all right.
Speaking of breaks, let's pause for a quick commercial break from our sponsor, and then we'll be right back.
Building a brand or a business takes time and focus. As an entrepreneur or business owner, there comes a point where trying to manage every detail on your own can slow things down. What the Snark helps take some of that off your plate. They provide custom branding, business apparel, drinkware, and precision decals for vehicles, equipment, storefronts, and even custom home goods. A one stop shop for all your custom gift needs. Located on Main Street in Wild Rose, What the Snark offers custom solutions designed and supported a clear and professional presentation. Visit their shop or reach out to learn more.
We
All right, folks, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that quick commercial from our sponsor. Back to it with Sam Wood here.
again, folks,
Healthy
go
water.
support my wife. She's married to me. Some days I feel bad for her. I mean, whoever thought that she was going to have the ATF after her? You'd think they'd be
Yeah,
after me. Telling you, it's crazy. But
it's a reach, man. It's a reach, is what it is. It's
yeah, it's
awesome.
crazy.
No, I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful that this podcast is starting to grow. I think we're at like 250 followers, and while that might not seem like a lot, it's those are 250 Washura County members. Most likely, almost all of them are within Washura County, so they're
Right?
involved. They're informed. They're listening.
I don't
I
think
get a lot of
Washura
feedback.
County has ever been more informed than they are right now.
I'm inclined to agree with that statement.
And that drives change. And you don't have to
100%.
agree with my change or my direction, but at least change, right? Here's the thing. We already know the department's watching my Facebook page. So if you got something you want to say about them, fucking feel free. I wish I could set my personal, like people could post anonymously, but that would cause. But here's the other thing, right? No matter what side you're on, unlike the Washura County Sheriff's Department, I like to have comments on my stuff. I don't get paid for any of my social media. I stopped my YouTube page hasn't been monetized in a while, and he got 20,000 plus followers on Facebook. I'm not monetized. I don't need the money, and I don't ever want anybody to look at me and say you posted that for the views or the money. I do post shit for the views because that's how.
We do it for the people.
Well, you got to have an algorithm, right? You know the algorithms. You got to learn how to work them, and you got to learn how to get the word out. And like I think part of what I do has made sure that Washura County is more educated about what is going on, not only with our sheriff's department, but our highway department, our county. And like I said,
Across the
and by
board.
us being educated, that's how we're going to drive change, and that's how we're going to hold people accountable. So
And the word unity, I'm gonna say the word unity is in community, right? So you got
Yeah,
to be working
yeah,
together. So we got to have the
yeah.
same information. We got to have the
I know
same drive.
people are
We all want the same things.
more more open records requests have never been done. People are digging into their own stuff. I get and listen, folks, I get tons of people texting me or sending me messages, and I get we just got another anonymous one in the mail. We get some of these where they cut the letters out of the newspaper and the words and put them all and glue them. It's fucking crazy.
Some Unabomber stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, seriously, these are people that are probably right inside ground level. And if
Right.
anybody ever found out that they were
They're in fear.
they're in fear, right?
Yeah.
And nobody should live in
They're in
fear.
fear.
And I get it. I'm in a unique
100%.
position, right? But I have emboldened people to stand up. So that's good. But we just got another one in the mail. Melissa sent it to me. It was like, hey, here's another one of your anonymous things. And it was somebody like, you're absolutely on the right track. Looking at the Spillman records in Coloma, blah, blah, blah. You should look into this, this, and this. And that's the stuff that I need to keep exposing, right? But no, I feel very blessed that our county is becoming, we're having some great elections coming up here. And listen, folks, let's talk about elections, right? Let's talk about local elections. Local elections matter. Your taxes you're bitching
Big
about is your
topic.
school boards, it's your county government. They really matter. And that's where they're hitting you like close to home, right? Your town boards, your township boards, your county board, your school boards. That's really so people are becoming involved. We got a great election. But I talked to a lot of people that would say, well, I'm not voting for that guy. And I'd be like, why? Well, he doesn't believe that abortion's wrong. And I'm like, okay, but we're not deciding abortion issues. People have to forget about Republican, Democrat, Independent at these local levels, right? We're not deciding abortion issues. But what we are deciding is you can have a businessman that's very business orientated, and he might be a flaming liberal, but he's going to do, it's the same thing. Like I said, I voted for Trump because it was the right thing I felt in my head to back, right? And it was going to be good for the country, going to be horrible for my fucking business. But I still voted with my brain. But if you vote with your brain and your conscience in local government, how many people are Republicans that are going to would vote for Wally if we put his name on just because he's a Republican? You're a fucking idiot if that's what you do. That's how we got Wally. That's how we got Wally. Take these people for what they are, talk to them, and then make a decision. Don't worry about the R and the D next to their name. That's where we're going to struggle. I get out there and I push the buttons on the liberals and the Republican Party in Wild Rose. You all seen me drive by them with the Cybertruck. And here's the deal, right? You're laughing because I've done it. I set up I brought in a lemonade trailer. They were having a protest, and I believe in their right to protest. And to make them comfortable, I brought in a lemonade stand and I had pizzas delivered and I cooked hot dogs for them, right? And for people on the other side. So but here's the thing, right? Them people, and I know how they work. They're small town people. I don't think we're going to solve the abortion issue or the Trump issue or anything by protesting in downtown Wild Rose or downtown Watoma. I support your right to protest. Don't get me wrong. 100%. But the issues 100%. You are looking at, but whatever. So I watched them pass out signs. One time I pulled up and they were collecting the signs, and I pulled up right behind the lady in a Cybertruck, right? And they're taking the signs and they're putting them in, and I honked the horn. She fucking jumped up, scared the shit out of her. And then they show up at the next one and they pass the signs out. These people, they don't even have their own. They're telling them what the problem is. They're giving them a fucking sign, and they're standing out there and they're fucking chanting something they don't know about. Now, I'm not just blowing this out my ass, because at that one where I brought the lemonade thing, first thing that happened, we're all standing there and they come out, and this lady comes up and she gets like a foot from my face, and she goes, "You know something? I heard you had a little penis." I'm like, "Oh, is that what?" First of all, it's none of your business. And second of all, is that really how we're going to have the dialogue? I haven't said nothing to offend you. I brought you lemonade and hot dogs. Take it for what it is, right? But I did bring that, and they were open to having it. And your first comment,
if it's a hot day, you need to be hydrated.
And it doesn't matter, right? I wanted to go there to open up a dialogue and actually talk to these people, because I'd been watching, and I'm like, these people are protesting and they are uninformed. They're only hearing 100%. One side of it. And so anyways, like I said, the first one was, "I heard you had a small penis." And it's like, really, that's where this is going to go? And again, right? I won that one because you look like an idiot. That's where you're going to go. And they moved their protest further down the street, and they started harassing people that were going into some of the businesses. And again, that's where you cross the line. But anyways, they came back. And by then I probably had 7 or 8 people that had showed up just because Sam Wood's out there with a Cybertruck serving hot dogs and lemonade to you. I'm going to go watch, or, I gotta be a part of this. Right. So anyways, this one lady comes up and she goes to me and she says, "Can I ask you a question?" I says, "Absolutely." And she says, "Are you a vet? Do you know any veterans?" I said, "Ma'am, I'm a veteran. I'm a disabled vet." And I says, "And most of these guys right here are also veterans." I said, "So what is that doing?" She goes, "Aren't you afraid that Donald Trump is taking money away from you?" And this is when they were trying to pass the big, beautiful bill, right? And I says, "Ma'am, have you read the bill?" And she looked at me and she goes, "No." And I said, "I've read a lot of it. It's a big bill and it's a lot to read, and you can," and I says, "And I'll tell you what, if you can show me where they're taking money away from veterans, I'll protest right next to you." But I said, it's not there. They're going to cut some waste, fraud, and abuse, and they're going to cut some of the bureaucracy out of it. But what you're saying is, what they're telling you is not there. And they literally came out of their little office and grabbed that woman and took her inside because they didn't want to have that dialogue, right?
Well, they had to finish brainwashing her. They had to try to refresh her brainwash.
100%.
You see the lights turn on. Once you put one or two facts together, they're just like, huh. And then like right there, all I had to do was plant the
I
seed of
hope she
truth.
went into that meeting and said, "Show me where they're taking away from veterans. Show me that." And that's what they fear. That's why Charlie Kirk and all of these guys were very effective, because they have the open dialogue, and then they say, they're like, "Don't cloud my opinion with facts." That's really where they're living, right?
Right.
I mean, right now,
100%.
Trump's doing some great things, but other times I'm like, oh my God, dude, just shut the fuck up, will you please?
Right. If he could just word it a little differently,
Yeah,
how he
and
addresses certain
sometimes,
things.
and here's the thing: the reason I voted for Trump literally was for this reason. I just wanted him to fuck everything up and whatever. But now I'm even like, okay, but he is doing some good things, and he's doing what's right for our country. Is he mucking some shit up? Yeah, we still don't have the Epstein files. We still don't have a lot of other shit. Again, in Washington County, because you vote for a Republican, he's not going to DC to get them to release the files. Whoever you vote for is going to be the guy sitting in the little Washington County courthouse putting up the big, beautiful building that we have. That was a Republican that fucking pushed for that building. And then it was a unanimous vote to get that building without us having a referendum. So everybody that was on there, Republican or Democrat, voted unanimously to build that fucking big, beautiful building that we have. So there's your Republican and your Democrat on a small town scale.
Right. That little letter doesn't make a difference. It's what
And
they
guess what
stand
problems we
for
still have?
and what they
We
represent.
still have the abortion issue. We still have the gun issue. We still have the Second Amendment issue. We still have all of that. The government in DC is cornholing all of us and telling us what we want to hear and getting our vote. And we just keep screwing ourselves. And then, like I said, I couldn't tell you who on the Washington County board is a Republican or a Democrat. I couldn't tell you. I don't fucking care, because it doesn't fucking matter. Like I said,
Right.
the big issues where the Republicans and the Democrats are. And here's the thing, right? We're voting people in Washington, D.C. like, wow, they're either voting Republican or Democrat on most of these bills. They're being told how to
Right.
vote. Robin Voss in the state of Wisconsin is telling these motherfuckers how to vote. He controls the purse to the election. If you don't vote the way Robin Voss wants you to vote in Madison as a Republican, he is going to primary somebody against you. If you don't vote the way Donald Trump or the Republican Party in Washington, D.C., Donald Trump has come out and said it. If you don't vote the way I want you to vote, I'm going to primary somebody. Again, I'm not against Trump, but I'm against most of the Democrat shit that comes out. Trust me, I am. But I am a constitutionalist. I want to go back to that. But on a small town scale, it doesn't fucking matter. Vote the person, vote the conscience. And like I said, I
Make a
talked to
difference.
some of these people.
And see the difference.
Some people, seriously, I have about 3 people that have come up to me and asked me what my stance is on abortion. And that's how you're going to decide if you're going to vote for me for sheriff. I'm not going to be able to fix it, dude. And I'm not going to Madison, and I'm not going to fucking Washington, D.C. to lobby for that. I will tell you,
protests.
I will tell you in Washington County, if I'm the sheriff, we will be a Second Amendment community. I will promote and stand behind our Second Amendment. Why? Because it protects every other amendment. Without the second, you don't have the first. You don't have the third. You don't have the fourth. You
Amen.
don't have the fifth. But
Amen. Our
other
forefathers
than
fought for these
that,
rights.
truthfully, number one and number two are probably the most important ones we have to worry about in a small community, because without them, we don't have what we have. And you see
100%.
that the Washington County page doesn't allow for comments, and they asked me
Yeah,
to.
correct.
They came out and kind of asked me to censor one of my posts. But on my page, for me, against me, you want to talk stupid, as long as it's not. I've never had anything really out of line that I've had to take down. But on my YouTube page and on my Facebook page, I don't censor anybody. You have a right. You have your right to opinion about me. Here's the thing. If you hate me, if you hate everything I do and what I stand for, and you're following me on YouTube or Facebook, bitch, you're a fan. Thanks for the view. You help my algorithm, right?
Hopefully
It
they
doesn't
get
even affect
get
me.
educated in the
And
process.
here's the thing. I love it when people make stupid comment and other people get on there. Feel free to argue on my pages because it helps the algorithm.
It starts the
Ultimately, I'm
dialogue
getting
too.
and it helps the dialogue. And ultimately, the word is getting out, and our county is becoming more educated that they will truly, hopefully, vote for change or vote with their conscience in the next election for county board, sheriff, DA, all of that. Listen, you guys are pissed off that we're letting child molesters loose and shit easy in Washera County? Hello, it's the DA. A lot of cases are getting decided not even by our judges. We elect judges, right? And it's not even
It's the DA's job to prosecute, right?
right, but he's all about plea bargaining. Most of them are. So a lot of the cases that they never even make it to a judge to make a decision. They never even make it to a jury. You know, let's send a child molester to the jury and let them find them guilty, and recommend that we give them the life sentence. Why are we plea bargaining to now?
Yeah, remember that
So, yeah.
specific case over by Bird Creek? There was a gentleman that approached some kids and he said he wanted to take them to go meet God, which I would imagine that implies that he was going to harm them and
Kill
loss
them.
of life. I would assume that's what that means.
Thank God the
the
Watoma PD nixed that in the ass. But ultimately, the DA plea bargained it down to nothing, right?
Yeah, the guy ended up getting very
like
minimal.
5 years or so. It was very minimal.
Yeah, they said, well, he never touched anyone or he never did anything. And it's just like, I still feel like the intent was all there. I mean, the guy said he was going to do what he was going to do.
Right.
You know, you don't need to hear anything more than that.
I mean, that's
where, your constituents put you into a place of power.
Yeah. I had a trespasser on my property, had it on camera and everything. I believe if that one went to trial, Brian Blader would have found them guilty and they would have been prosecuted. I think his name is Brian Blader, ain't it? It's Judge Blader.
It's Scott Blader.
Scott Blader.
DA? Yeah. He's the new
judge.
The judge, correct.
So I think he would have found him guilty, but we never got to go there because the DA didn't want to press charges. So a lot of things you guys blame people, the county blame people on, and this is another reason why you got to educate yourself and stay informed. You're blaming the wrong people. I was guilty of it in the beginning. I really was. And then you got to know the roles of the people you're talking to. You know, a lot of people used to go to Ruth with a lot of these problems, and Ruth is the corporate counsel for Washera County. It's her job to protect the county against a lawsuit, not open them up to one. And she's good at her job. So, and then you got, like I said, you guys elected a sheriff, he ran on a Republican ticket, and I think that's why he won. And he was known in the community, but we don't need to be citing local elections. Here's the thing, right? You want to know what one of the biggest town boards that I can remember meetings in Wild Rose was? You want to know what it was about? We're electing people by Republican or Democrat in Wild Rose, thinking, what's your stance on abortion? What's your stance on this? What's your stance on all of these big issues, right? The biggest town board meeting I can remember in Wild Rose was they were going to fucking ban burning leaves. Burning leaves was the most important fucking thing. That's what you all rallied on. And great, you should have. But you are voting based on issues that are way different than burning leaves.
Right.
The biggest county board meeting we had, the biggest county board meeting I think ever, I don't know, was the one where I rallied all the people and we went in there and it was over the dog issue, right? The sheriff and the dog. So you guys
are like 150 plus people turn out or something?
It was like 170 or something. They had to open up the extra room. There's people. But here's the thing, right? The biggest one was we had the issue with the payment of the dog. And you're asking me what my stance is on abortion when I'm running for sheriff? Wake up, people. Right. Vote the shit locally that matters. However you want to vote on big government. Dude, I get to the point like I don't even want to vote for half of these people because it's like they've been in office for so long. It's the same shit. The right wing and the left wing is connected to the same bird. Let's just take small government, right? These people know each other. They're in the community together, the whole shit, right? They're trying to decide what's best, right? Do you think that fucking Lindsey Graham ain't having goddamn cocktails with Ilya and Omar at some fucking point in time?
Right.
Come on, dude. Right. They're living in the same town. They're talking. They're eating in the same places. And right. I don't think we should. I mean, it's like I'm sick of voting on a national level. I really am. But it's, we got to do our due diligence. It's our right to vote. People have died giving us that right. And if you're,
they say if we don't vote now, we might not ever have a chance to vote ever again.
Well, here's the other thing. This is what I tell people. If you don't vote, you got no right to bitch.
Right.
And then you got to
100%.
look at, I think Gene Weddy, who's running said it. I know it's Gene. Gene always said, you're hiring these people with your votes. You're paying them with your votes. Think about that, and
Right.
that's it. Are you going to hire a guy that's real shitty at mowing grass to mow the grass? No. Are you going to ask if he's a Republican or a Democrat? Are you going to ask your lawnmower guy, what's your stance on abortion? You're against abortion? Well, fuck you. You're not going to mow my grass. We don't even ask them questions, right? But
Right.
you're going to ask
100%.
me or Gene Weddy or something. Gene, what's your stance on abortion? You're really highly educated and very well informed about everything that goes on in the county, but what's your stance on abortion? Because that's how I'm going to vote. What's your stance on the Second Amendment? Because that's how I'm going to vote. What do you think about what's going on in Minneapolis? I don't fucking care. We have our own goddamn problems. Right. So
thank God that's not Wisconsin.
It's gonna be. They're setting it up. You see what they're doing?
I seen it because they had children pulling out of school to protest. It's like they don't even know what they're protesting about. They're too young to even get involved.
And all the shit that Waltz doesn't want to give up the information, Evers doesn't want to give it up either.
He's roadblocking it because he knows that there's corruption, and it's so large that he's attached to it.
But Evers is roadblocking it too. He's doing the same thing.
He doesn't want us to look into the food share. Doesn't want us to look into what was it, like some sort of hospice care or something, health-wise. I forget what else, but there's a couple different businesses or things that there's definitely a lot of money involved with, and he's blocking the road completely. Like, doesn't want it to happen.
I mean,
Wisconsin definitely has its own issues.
So we got, God damn it, what's his name? He's our state representative in Waupaca County. Anyhow, I brought up the veterans home in King. Like, we need to fix some of that shit there, right? They built on, they don't have, it's bad. So when I brought it up to him, he said to me, why are we worried about a federally funded veterans home? This dude lives in Waupaca. He's representing me in Madison, and he doesn't know that the King Veterans Home is state funded. That's how they didn't get masks when they needed masks back when COVID was, the whole mask thing. I had a couple of friends that worked there as nurses, and they reached out to me, and I think me and Melissa bought like 2,000 masks for the King Veterans Home. I don't remember. Maybe we bought one or whatever, but we bought some masks. And then I was so pissed off and worked up because literally veterans were dying there and their families weren't allowed to go and see them it was so bad. But yeah, so you have people representing us that don't even know about our community. So yeah, everybody's got to get involved, right? And figure out what your passion is and go with it. Your passion is to do a podcast. I got Ricky Brown, his passion. He just came out. I met him at the big to do with the sheriff's department. Ricky. Yeah, so I met him at the sheriff's when we were bringing up the dog, right? And he came up and he talked to me, and he's like, hey, I'm trying to get informed, and what should I do? And Ricky's firm a believer we should lock the sheriff up for what he done. And I'm not far behind him, but Ricky has a voice, and he's like, so how do I?
I'm in agreement.
And I'm like, he's like, what do I do? I'm like, dude, just educate yourself, start going to meetings, town meetings, whatever meetings you can go to. These are hard sometimes, Hell, I fly back sometimes just to go to a meeting because I know it's going to be that important, right? And now
why aren't they publicly broadcasted? Shouldn't they all be publicly broadcasted?
So they weren't. Just the county board meeting was, but they did this last county board meeting.
Remember, they did the one.
Yeah, but I pushed and made some suggestions. I wanted him. So here's a lot of what happens. I pushed to get the board meetings publicized. All the committee meetings now. I'm not talking about the board meetings are publicized and they're on YouTube and everything else. The committee meetings were not. And that's where we're going back, and the minutes suck, and we're trying to figure out. It all came about with what all went on about the sheriff's dog, right? And we're trying to go back in the minutes, and we couldn't find a resolution, didn't know if it was voted on, da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, two things. I'm here in North Dakota a lot, and I don't get to see the minutes, or the minutes are very vague, and I don't get to see what was actually said, right? And then two, we don't have it's a good record to go back and look at right now, right? Because we can see what they discussed and how they voted and what the resolution really is about. So we have that. So I brought it up that I wanted these.
It's an accountability tool and an education tool. Because it lets people get educated that can't be there, and accountability for people after the fact.
It's super easy, right? It's basically putting on a podcast or a YouTube video or a Facebook 100%. Live video.
Live,
super easy.
Bam, we're live. It's out there.
Yeah, but they did vote on it at the last county board meeting. We need to get it done. They want it done now. They're not doing the real small subcommittees or some of these committees that are like, I don't want to say not important, but they're doing the big ones, all the main ones. And there's probably 20 or whatever it was.
The ones that need the oversight, the ones that definitely need the oversight.
Correct. Like the public safety one where they didn't keep questioning and we didn't know we didn't have inmates. And so we're going to have accountability to county board members because now they know that they're going to be watched. I can keep educated on what's going on because I'll watch them in my time when I have free time to get it done, and then other people will watch them. So it's huge. I mean, I want all the school boards in the county on video.
Absolutely.
I want all the town boards on video. I want all of it. And it's super easy to do, right? They just got to get it done. And with today's technology and the way media and social media and everything is, just do it. So
That
it is
should be a
getting
problem.
done in Washington County, without a doubt. It's getting done. They're going to have it done, and then
Excellent.
they're going to post a link so it's not going to go on YouTube. It's going to be on WebEx. They're going to post a link.
Okay, which is
upcoming county
it's just
board
another
meetings.
domain platform.
Right. Upcoming county board meetings, they're going to post the link to the WebEx, and you can click on it and you can view it. You're going to be muted. Public comments are not going to be allowed to be done over.
That's understandable.
Which I'm okay
it's not necessary.
I kind of took it as like, oh, you guys are making sure Sam Wood doesn't say anything, and even though he's in North Dakota, but whatever. I see it.
It's just a distraction from the topics at hand.
So they're not going to allow public comments over WebEx, and I'm good with that.
That's okay.
And then
I don't turn the comments on for these videos just for Facebook. YouTube comments are off, and Spotify comments are off.
And then I believe they're going to post it. They're going to post the meeting so you can go back and view it if you didn't get to watch it live. And they're giving them 5 days. The county board said we want it done in 5 days. So you have 5 days after the meeting is over to get it posted publicly so people could go and review it. I don't know if that means it's going to get posted on YouTube or if it's just going to be still on WebEx, but they're going to put it out there so we can go. So huge step.
It'll be out there.
Boss hard.
100%.
Dave Boss Hard took the reins on that, and then him and Jesse Urban made sure that they got it across the finish line. So that's
kudos to them for doing the right thing.
Yeah,
I
that's
think that's
huge
important
for the county, and it was a unanimous vote.
It's huge.
It was a unanimous vote. So whether they have a D or an R by their name, they unanimously voted on this, and it's a good thing.
They know it's for the best interest for growth.
And that's what I'm telling people. You got to really understand what these. We want people to be there that have the best interest of our small community in mind. We're not Dane County, we're Washington County. We're not Milwaukee County, we're Washington County. And we have some big bills to pay. So yeah. And
an informed community is also a safe community.
And this is the other thing I'm telling people, and I tell the board, we went $600,000 over budget in 2025, I believe. So they took that out of the general
never
fund.
Let that happen again.
They took it out of the general fund. And the general fund gets easy, right? We got the money. We got $5 million. I think we got $5.5 million, somewhere between $5 and $6 million. Don't quote me on that, but whatever it is. And then I think we're projected already, I think, to go like 1.2 million over on the next budget. They are trying to make some more cuts. I know they're on people to make cuts and everything. So hopefully we get it back. But here's the thing. If we got 5 million on there and we're going $1 million in the hole every time, we got 5 years and we're fucking broke. And we can only cut so many programs, right? And I don't think things are going to get cheaper. Like they have the food programs or the Meals on Wheels or whatever. That's all part of county funding. But the food costs are going up and the gas is going up. And they have the share rider where they ride. All these costs are going up. Paper's fucking going up, for fuck's sakes. How much paper do they use there? I mean, everything is going up and our budget isn't growing. So they have to be mindful that every year they do that, we're 5 years from being bankrupt. So that's why I tell people, stay informed.
It's like a slow bleed out, more or less. Like we need to start focusing on healing.
Sam Wood never thought he would know this much.
Financially.
My government teacher in Wild Rose was John Eilers. He's left. I'm right. But luckily I was right. Didn't know what it was. But me and John Eilers, when he was my history teacher and my government teacher, we butted heads a lot. But he was very influential with me growing up. and I obviously learned something about government because I know how it runs. I know how to dig into it, and I try to
Right.
figure it out. And I'm very
It
big
rubbed
about the
off enough.
Constitution.
It rubbed off
It
enough.
rubbed off enough, probably too much, because like I bust his balls a lot on his posts because he's one side and I'm the other, right? And some people think I was disrespectful or whatever, but you take it for what it is. But John Eilers, I will see him outside in public, and he does encourage me on some things, or we have a conversation. And, I kind of tell him sometime, I bet you wish, I like to, I tell him, I said, I'm probably one of your most successful and one of your, that like in
Pupils.
government that got involved and kind of pushes the government level of all of his students. And like I said, there was times that like the beginning of class, he would fucking throw me out. Like before we even got started, he would tell me to go to the fucking library because he just knew the topic was going to be me and him butting heads, and it was what it was.
They call that a prodigy.
Yeah, no, I'm not
like,
his prodigy,
start
dude,
teaching
because I
someone
ain't
your
following
skills.
his footsteps. But
The opposite.
and here's the thing, right? He sits on the Wild Rose board. He was the village president at one time, and I don't think he did a bad job. And he's left. He's a Democrat. I don't think he did a bad job.
Right.
I voted for him.
Like you said, it's about the policies. It's about the people. If you focus on the things that matter, you don't have time for bullshit.
Yeah, so I voted for him. I think the school board in Wild Rose leans left with a lot of people, but there's some people I can reach out to, and we talk about some things that are going on that I hear about and need rectified, right? And they get it handled. So no, the R and the D don't matter, not in small town politics. And really, if you think about it, big government is not Washington D.C. I mean, truthfully, how many of these fucking stupid bills did they pass that even affect their life at all, right? But how many bills or how many resolutions get passed in you would consider small government that affect your life? Your big government is your county and your towns and your villages. That's your biggest impact on your life and your paycheck and your way of life. So
100%.
and so think of big government as really the
100%.
local
The people
shit.
you put in power
Over your
the
everyday
people you
life.
help put in power, definitely reflect.
So yeah, I think we need to open up
Absolutely.
more discussion with these guys, and I think you're going to have some of them on your podcast, ain't you? That are running for county board.
Yeah, so I got a podcast with Gene Weddy planned here in the near future. I told him pretty much open date. Whenever he would like to communicate and advocate his messages and his campaign at a time that works best for him. So if next week is best for him, then I'll have him on next week.
So I don't necessarily think the same way Gene Weddy thinks, but I think me and Gene talk. He comes to the county board meetings and we talk. I think we're kind of on the same page. But truthfully, you will never find a guy who's more informed in Washera County than Gene Weddy. Like he goes to so many of the committee meetings and so many. So he's really trying. And I use Gene a lot of times when I'm like, hey, what happened in that meeting? I couldn't get to it and blah, blah, blah. And they don't record it now, but now they're going to. But no, Gene Weddy's a good candidate. And he's running against John Jarvis. And John Jarvis, I don't think very highly of the guy. I mean, it says what it is. We have the big, beautiful building, and he led a meeting, and it's just, we're not going to get into it. But Gene's a good guy. There's a couple other guys get with Gene. I think any of them should try to get out and talk to more people. This is a pretty important election for our county with the board.
It's probably one of the biggest ones we've had in a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no empty slots. So nobody's going to get nominated or appointed, right? That you have somebody there's some people there now that are sitting on the board that are appointed. So they weren't even elected. Somebody had to step down for whatever reason. And they put somebody in their place. I mean, I think the board votes on the person unanimously. I think the chair, John Jarvis, brings them to the table and then they all vote on it. So it is a little bit of a process, but so we have nowhere they're going to appoint anybody in the county. We do have some people running unopposed. We got some incumbents that are running unopposed. And then we have some people there we didn't have anybody running in that area, that district, and they stepped up, so they're going to get an automatic in. But I think that there was a couple of them at the county board meeting this time, so they're not going to go in green. They're trying to educate themselves. No, I think it's going to be one of the most important local elections in my lifetime that I'm involved in, that I'm talking about. So, no,
And I don't get a vote because I don't live in Washare County anymore. But I have children that live in Washare County. You know, I have
right.
family members that live in Washare County, and I have a lot of
So you
friends
have a reason to
that live in
advocate
Washare County. So
and educate the people on
100%.
who the yeah. If somebody comes, like you said, what do you care who's running? Well, you do care. You got family there. You know, you got kids and all of
I
that.
got a
So,
lot of reasons to care. Plenty of reasons
and
to
if we
care.
don't start fixing this shit
100%.
now, I mean, our kids and our grandkids, you know, I mean, this is the future.
It'll
We
only get
got
worse.
here.
Things
We
don't just
got
get
here.
better on their own.
We voted ourselves into this shit, and somehow we got to vote ourselves out of it. So,
Right.
no, it's huge. It's huge.
I think
Voting
that
is.
I think that there's a lot of good energy behind this. There's been a lot of informed people, a lot
Yeah,
of
you
people
know,
getting
like I
involved.
said, you know,
So
Ricky
then now
Brown
you
and a
have
couple of these
informed
other
people,
guys.
or you have intelligent informed people.
Yeah, and like I said, now you got guys that are, you know, like Ricky Brown and everything. I hope by him talking, he brings more people in that are going to vote and all of that. And there's a lot of other people on my Facebook page. I mean, I'm at over 20,000 people and shit. We only got 25,000, I think 27,000 total population of Washare County. So I do believe this is the most important
Right.
election. And I also believe that we have the most educated community than we ever had. And you could take either side of it. I think people
I
are
agree.
asking questions, even if they don't, you know, even if they agree with me, they're asking questions, right? I mean, I hear it all the time. You know, people are coming up. Yeah, people
That's
are
a start.
asking, you watch that Sam Wood guy? Or, you know, and it's, people come up to me out in the community
I
or
got people
whatever.
that have like tons of questions for you, but I can't bring them all up.
Well, you should bring them up.
I could
You
talk to
should,
you off the record about some of them, but
right? I'm an open book. I mean, dude, I don't,
we could. I know that, and I know that.
you
I
should
know that.
get all of them together and put them all together, and I'll come and do another one, and we'll just do a question and answer, and I don't care, dude. They can ask me anything. I'm an open book. I don't care. I
Maybe
mean,
that might be a potential for the future. I can have up to
yeah.
at least 3 people in the podcast at one time. I know that for sure.
Well, they can just
So,
send you the questions, right?
you
And you
know,
keep
maybe
writing them
that'd be
down,
something for the future.
and then you know, don't tell me beforehand, and you'll get the honest, opinionated answer. You know, I know people are all freaked out, and they always tell me this, right? You shouldn't cuss so much. Holy fuck! Are you
I
kidding
get that
me?
one a lot.
I was in the Marine Corps. So first of all, I started out very young. I was feral. My mom worked, so I was feral, and we ran and did everything. And you know, I remember I was like 8 years old, 9 years old, or 8 years old, and we ride our bikes from Wild Rose to Saxville fishing. I mean, you can't get them to walk down the street now. So I was feral, and I went in the Marine Corps. I got out of the Marine Corps and I was in the roofing. I worked on farms all my life. And it's like, if you don't like the way I present it, feel free to present it any way you want. Listen, people freak out over the F word, right? It's the most versatile fucking word there is. You can use it as an adjective, a noun, a verb, everything. It's like you should just, people just got to lighten up. And here's the other thing, right? It may turn them off, but guess what? They keep listening. They keep showing up. And
Right.
if you don't like the way I do things, but you watch everything I do, bitch, you're a fan. And I'm educating you, right? I'm giving you an opinion, like me or not.
We love fans.
And really, you can go out there and go,
100%.
well, I don't like the way he talks about that. But this shit is serious. And you got to talk about it whatever way you want. So I get it.
And for the record, this isn't a scripted podcast. It's not like
No.
I have some guests that prefer to have some keynotes, but when it comes to Sam Wood, I don't have to script any of these conversations. None of this is pre-discussed. We just hit the record button and we're talking.
I just run my
knows.
mouth for an hour or 2 hours or whatever we do, right? I just keep running my mouth. But no, you know, back in the day,
it's all information, man. It's all solid information.
My mom will tell you, listen, and here's the other thing, right? If my mom accepts me for who I am, the world has to accept me for who I am by default, right? And my mom was in labor. She always tells me, you know, people go up and they say, boy, your son's an ass, you know, or whatever, and he's an asshole. My mom goes, yeah, I was in labor for 47 hours. I knew he was going to be an asshole. I just didn't know he was going to be this big a one, and he's out there killing it, right? And then here's the thing, right? In order to do a lot of what I do, you have to have the fortitude. You can't be nice. I mean, I work with men,
you gotta
right?
have thick skin for that stuff.
I was a roofer, and I'd be like, can you imagine? Hey, Johnny, can you please go over there and get that hammer so we can pound this nail in and get this board nailed down? Johnny, give me that fucking hammer so we can get this shit done and go home. What do you think they're going to listen to more? And that's the people I grew up with my whole life, right? Norman Hujat, Mike Loretzin were my bosses. You know, and then I went to Marine Corps, and And if you think they talk nice to you in the Marine Corps, you got another thing coming, dude. So, and
Right.
here's the thing, right? People say you can't fix stupid. Oh, you fucking can. Trust me, you can. It takes a guy like me, we can fix stupid. When I joined the Marine Corps, we were all marching and they would tell us to turn left, column left. Half the people went left, half the people went right the first day. They'd be like, fucking don't even know you're right and you're left. These are the people we're going to send to defend our country. But guess what? Within a couple of
Right.
days,
They
we
figured
all
it
knew
out.
our right from our left. We fixed stupid. It just hurt.
Right. It's a
So
good fact lesson right there.
it is. So that's where we're at, man.
100%.
Anyways,
Well,
I got to get rolling.
We're approaching about an hour and a half here.
Yeah, right. Mine are always so long.
Excellent.
I hope people watch, but I do got to get going.
When it comes to time frames, I don't even look at the time frame like that. So we can make them as long as we need to go, as long as we advocate and
We
push
can.
whatever
If you
conversation.
get enough people to send you questions and
topics
want
that
the
need
true
to be
deal,
there.
I'll come on and do another one with you. I don't give a shit. Only because I really want to educate people.
Yeah, well,
And I like talking shit and
yeah,
running my
100%.
mouth and all of that. So everybody,
If it's facts, it's facts. It's not running your
Yeah.
mouth. I mean, it is what it is. The delivery might not come out the way people want it to be on a silver
yeah,
platter,
right. You
but
know,
the facts are what the facts are.
I'm going up against corruption, right? I'm not delivering a church sermon. So
Amen
I
to
mean, there
that.
is a difference, right? And truthfully, right? I mean,
100%.
don't judge me.
No,
If
100%.
you're delivering a church sermon, don't judge me. But whatever. You're never.
Only Jesus.
I've been through so much shit in my life. I've done good. I've done bad. All of that. So nobody's ever going to hurt my feelings. We're good. Like I said,
No, you're a
I'm up
pretty
against.
remarkable person, Sam.
I'm up trying to expose corruption. And I truthfully believe that any other way it's been done in the past hasn't worked, right? Nice hasn't worked or talking or whatever. I
Yeah.
got the word out. People are talking and the surrounding counties are
100%.
talking and all of that. So we're all good. I'll just keep doing what I'm doing and you can feel free to, anybody else can go and step up and, we're getting the
We'll
people.
definitely follow up with you here.
We're getting the people though. There's a lot of more people getting involved. There's a lot of people getting involved. So, and I'm good. Like Ricky Brown, he came up
We're
to
great.
me. And
We're very grateful for all your efforts.
Yep. I mean, these people are
Definitely. You've done
it,
an awful lot. Yeah.
it doesn't matter where they've been in their past. They're getting involved now. So, and truthfully, some of the people that are want to expose some of the corruption or some of the things that have been going on should listen to them because if they're ones that have been there, they know.
They've seen.
So yeah,
They
this
lived
all
through it.
started. This all started over a guy talking shit about a 4x4 sign and a piece of property in Wild Rose. That's what started all of this. There's probably people that tell that guy today, God, man, I wish you'd just shut your mouth that day and let Sam Wood have his way.
Can you just keep
Yeah, I just kept more and more and more and more and more.
but
more.
you gotta be grateful. You gotta be grateful for what started because that's what got us to where we're at today. Things need to keep growing from here.
If you have the receipts, don't be afraid to talk about it. You may lose friends over it. You'll gain other friends, but you will be educating people. And listen, friends don't make change. Friends don't pay your bills. Most of the time, friends don't even come to Thanksgiving dinner with you. It's your family that matters and your priorities and what's right for you. So no matter what reason somebody comes forward to do, whether it's an axe to grind, it's vengeance, or it's just wanting to make a difference, or just whatever, or they just get the calling, right? Something comes down to them and says, I think I'm going to get involved in local government for whatever it is, go and do it. And if you have the receipts, don't be afraid to expose it. You don't even have to take a side, right? Just expose it. If you have the receipts, people will respect you in the end.
And if you want to get involved with certain things, and I'm going to say, if you want to get involved with certain aspects of certain things, maybe reach out to someone that's currently actively speaking up about it, and maybe they can guide you on what you can do or how you can make a difference because we need as many people to get involved with a lot of this as possible.
If you don't know what you can do, and you don't know what your role is, right? A lot of people don't get involved because they really don't know what to do. They don't know how to do it. They're intimidated. They don't want to look stupid, or they don't know what their passion is, right? Just remember, everybody that ran for board had one key thing they put them there. Everybody who runs for public office, it's like that one key thing. So I say start going to meetings, whether it's your town board, your school board, or whatever, your county board, start going to meetings, start educating yourself, and it will slap you in the face when something comes out and you'll be like, I ain't taking that bullshit. That's what I'm going to fight for. And that's how it starts. And then make that your passion. And if everybody gets involved with their passion is, that's how we're going to evolve this, right? You
We
don't
should
have to
see the
worry.
change. We should see
Yeah.
the change. Absolutely.
And that's how it started. I went to my
Absolutely.
first county board meeting. If you look it up, it's on there. I literally told them, we are at war and I will not stop until you fire George Nye or he resigns. And then it took a couple of meetings and I was like, you can add Ryan Frymark to the list. He's the next one. So until I get them two, they're gone, and our roads are better and everything's better, right? And it just took whatever it is that gets you involved. That's what you have to do. And then it evolved into the sheriff's department and all of these other things and going to budget meetings and going to all of this stuff and educating myself. And that's how it started. You start going to these meetings, school board, township, county board, what your calling is will slap you right in the face. And that's how you get started. That's how you get the passion, and that's how you follow up. And now it's going to be easier because, like, the board meetings are going to be, or committee meetings are going to be publicized.
Broadcasted.
Yeah, read about it. A lot of people
Absolutely.
used to go to these meetings, the county board meetings, and they'd get their 3 minutes, right? And they'd talk, and nobody asked them a question. Nobody says anything to them. Some of the guys don't even look like they're fucking paying attention to you. And you
Right.
leave there feeling defeated, like nobody cares. That is the way the meetings are set up. They cannot engage with you. That's Robert's Rules of Orders. That's Wisconsin state statute says they can't ask you any questions. What you can do is look through the minutes and figure out which line says, is there any recommendation for, I don't know exactly how it is, but it's like, has anybody got any topic we should add to the next board meeting for discussion, right? So whatever line number that is, then you say your 2.5 minutes or whatever. And then you say, I request that somebody on this board use line item, whatever that is, to get me on the next agenda. Once you're on the agenda, then you can talk. They can ask you questions, or they will refer it. They will refer it to a committee, and then you can go to that committee, and then you're on the agenda and you can talk. So don't go there and feel defeated when they first don't acknowledge you. And then know what you have to say to have them take action. And then if nobody uses it and you don't get on the agenda, they don't give a shit, right? So that's how you educate yourself to how this is going and how to do it. And then, learn about how to get open records requests, what you're requesting, how to word it, educate yourself on stuff like that, and you'll be able to do way better. And then, know where to ask questions. They all work for us. So that's really all I got. Get involved, find your passion. Somehow we said we were ending this, and we probably added another 15 minutes to the damn podcast.
Yeah. Well, Sam Wood, thanks again for sharing today. We appreciate you coming back on.
It's all important stuff.
I think that last 15 minutes right there was a very critical aspect. So I'm glad that you actually said that.
Right.
That might end up being the snippet that I used to share with everybody.
Yeah. And then, I try to always tell everybody, watch it to the end, So no, that's it, man.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you.
Well, Sam, I appreciate you coming back on the show.
Right.
We'll touch base here pretty soon.
Nice hat, by the way.
Everyone,
where'd you get
stay
that?
tuned. This one will.
Hey, nice hat, by the way. Where'd you get that? What
the Snark? Wild Rose, Wisconsin.
I wear do epic shit, and my wife doesn't make these hats.
You betcha.
We get it. And that's kind of how she got into it, too. But these are all custom made. I buy them by the dozen. Yeah.
I still got to stop by and go back again and get the shirt that says, hello, folks, Sam Wood, folks. I got to get that one.
Hey, folks, Sam here. That's what it is. Hey, folks, Sam here.
Yeah, I got to get that one. Yeah.
She's got
I want that shirt.
Right.
I got to get me one of them.
Right. You will have it.
I got to stop back there. Well, Sam, thanks again. We appreciate you. I hope you have a blessed rest of your weekend. Stay warm, stay safe, and God bless.
You too, buddy. I appreciate it too.